As we age past 65, there's a hidden health thief that slowly robs you of your strength, energy, and even your independence. And the most frustrating part is that many seniors have no idea it's happening because the symptoms creep in so gradually that they're often mistaken for just getting older. I'm talking about a specific vitamin deficiency that silently affects muscle mass, balance, mood, bone strength, and even your immune system, leaving you more prone to falls, frailty, and fatigue. This deficiency is so common among older adults that some experts estimate over half of seniors are affected to some degree, yet very few are tested for it during routine checkups, which means millions of people are walking around feeling weaker, slower, and more tired than they should, without ever realizing there's a fixable cause. The body's ability to absorb and use this vitamin declines naturally with age due to changes in stomach acid production, liver function, and skin efficiency. But lifestyle choices, medications, and even where you live can make the problem much worse. The deficiency I'm talking about is not one of those rare, obscure conditions that only affects a small group. It's something so basic to your daily functioning that when your body runs low, you might notice trouble getting out of a chair, lifting grocery bags, or walking at your normal pace, yet doctors often chalk this up to normal aging and move on. It's a dangerous oversight because while a mild shortage might cause only subtle weakness, ongoing depletion can lead to brittle bones, depressed mood, cognitive decline, reduced immunity, and a drastically higher risk of fractures that can change your life overnight. The real danger lies in the fact that your body gives you whispers of warning long before a serious problem develops. Things like muscle cramps, unexplained aches, slower reaction time, and low energy. But because these signs mimic other age-related issues, you may not connect the dots. Even worse, the very medications prescribed to older adults for common conditions like acid reflux, high blood pressure, and diabetes can interfere with this vitamin's absorption, creating a vicious cycle where the more health problems you develop, the harder it is for your body to hold on to what little of this nutrient you're still getting. Diet plays a huge role as well, and many seniors unintentionally eat less of the foods richest in this vitamin either because of changes in appetite, dental issues, or concerns about cholesterol and fat, without realizing they're cutting out a major source of a nutrient their body desperately needs. For example, you may have heard that sunlight helps your body produce this vitamin, and while that's true, your skin's ability to synthesize it decreases significantly after 60, meaning even if you spend time outdoors, you may not be making enough. Add in the fact that many older adults avoid sun exposure due to skin cancer concerns, wear sunscreen diligently, or live in areas with long winters and limited daylight, and you have a perfect recipe for deficiency. This is why so many seniors, even those who think they eat well and stay active, find themselves dealing with unexplained weakness, a heavier sense of fatigue, or that unsettling feeling of losing physical resilience they once took for granted. It's heartbreaking because I've seen older adults lose confidence in their ability to go for walks, participate in social events, or travel simply because they don't feel steady or strong enough anymore, when in reality, a simple correction in this one nutrient could make a noticeable difference in how their body functions day to day. But here's the catch. This deficiency doesn't always show up in standard blood tests unless your doctor specifically looks for it, and even then, the normal range used by labs can be misleading, meaning you might be told everything is fine when your body is actually running on fumes. That's why understanding the subtle signs and risk factors for this deficiency is so important, because once you recognize them, you can take steps to restore your levels before more serious damage occurs. Think about it, your muscles, bones, nerves, and immune cells all rely on this vitamin to communicate, repair, and function at their best, so when levels drop, it's like trying to run a household with half the power out. You can still get by for a while, but things don't work as smoothly, and eventually something important will fail. The truly frustrating thing is how preventable it all is, because in many cases, restoring healthy levels is simple, inexpensive, and highly effective, yet the medical system often waits until you've had a fracture, a fall, or a major mobility decline before addressing the root cause. That's why it's crucial to take the initiative in learning about this nutrient now, before your strength, independence, and quality of life take a hit. In the next part, we'll dig into the exact name of this vitamin, why aging bodies struggle to maintain it, and how you can spot the early, easy-to-miss symptoms that might be telling you your levels are slipping, so you can act before irreversible changes set in. Now that you understand how this silent vitamin deficiency can slowly undermine your strength, balance, and overall vitality without obvious symptoms until it's quite advanced, let's dig deeper into exactly why it becomes such a common issue after the age of 65, and why so many people mistakenly believe they're getting enough, when in reality they're falling short in a way that affects almost every system in the body. The primary culprit here is not just poor diet, it's also the body's changing ability to absorb nutrients as we age. Even if you eat foods that are naturally rich in this vitamin, your stomach produces less acid over time, which is necessary to release the vitamin from the protein it's bound to in your food. This reduction in stomach acid is a natural part of aging for many, but it's often worsened by the very medications older adults commonly take: acid reducers for heartburn, certain diabetes drugs, and even some antibiotics can block the absorption of this nutrient almost completely over the years without you realizing it. This is why blood tests often surprise patients, because they think, "But I eat healthy," without realizing the issue isn't intake, it's absorption. And here's the tricky part: the early symptoms of this deficiency are so subtle they can be confused with normal aging: mild fatigue, a little forgetfulness, occasional tingling in the hands or feet, a weaker grip, or just feeling off, without being able to explain why. Over time, these symptoms worsen, and because they overlap with other age-related conditions like arthritis, dementia, or neuropathy, they often get misdiagnosed or ignored. The result? People slowly lose muscle strength, coordination, and mental clarity, chalking it up to just getting old, when in reality they are dealing with a correctable nutritional deficiency. And unlike many other vitamins, your body can't make this one on its own. You have to get it from food or supplements. Common food sources include animal-based proteins like fish, poultry, eggs, and dairy. But even if you eat these regularly, age-related absorption problems can mean you still end up deficient. This is why many doctors recommend periodic screening for this vitamin starting in your late 50s or early 60s. Especially if you take medications that affect stomach acid or if you follow a vegetarian or vegan diet, where intake can be even more limited. What's alarming is how this deficiency doesn't just make you weak, it can damage your nerves permanently if left untreated long enough, leading to a shuffling gait, constant numbness, and even irreversible cognitive decline. In some cases, seniors have been mistakenly diagnosed with Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, only to later discover that treating this deficiency dramatically improved their symptoms. That's why knowing the warning signs is so critical, and why simply waiting for your next routine checkup might not be enough. If you've noticed persistent weakness, unusual fatigue, or even mild balance problems, it's worth asking your doctor for a specific blood test for this nutrient, because standard lab panels don't usually include it unless specifically requested. The good news is, once identified, the deficiency is typically easy to correct, though how you correct it depends on how severe it is. Mild cases can often be treated with oral supplements, while more advanced cases may require high-dose tablets or even injections to bypass the stomach and go directly into the bloodstream. The difference in how people feel after treatment can be dramatic. Energy returns, mood improves, muscle strength comes back, and even memory sharpness often increases. But here's the key: the longer the deficiency goes untreated, the harder it is to reverse nerve damage, so acting early matters enormously. This is why, even if you think you're healthy for your age, it's still worth taking this issue seriously, because prevention is far easier than trying to rebuild strength after years of silent damage. And remember, this isn't about vanity or chasing youth. It's about preserving your independence, your ability to walk confidently, your mental clarity, and your quality of life well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. When a silent vitamin deficiency persists into later years, the effects on the body can be both wide-ranging and deeply underestimated. And what's particularly alarming is that the signs are often brushed aside as just getting older, when in reality they are correctable imbalances that sap away mobility, mental clarity, and even mood stability. By the time someone over 65 begins to feel consistently fatigued or notices a lack of physical resilience, such as struggling to rise from a chair, climb stairs, or carry groceries, the deficiency may have already been affecting their muscles and nervous system for years without obvious clues, and that's why catching it earlier is so crucial. This particular deficiency doesn't just weaken muscles, it also interrupts the smooth communication between the brain and body by impairing nerve conduction, which can lead to slowed reflexes, reduced coordination, and even minor balance issues that significantly increase the risk of falls. Many people think of vitamins in terms of quick fixes or simple supplements, but when we're dealing with something that affects muscular power, bone density, and neurological performance all at once, it's more like restoring a broken bridge between multiple systems of the body. The longer that bridge is left to crumble, the harder it becomes to rebuild, which is why early and consistent intervention is key. One of the hidden dangers is that as muscles weaken, posture subtly changes, shoulders may slump, gait may shorten, and overall movement becomes less efficient, which ironically burns more energy and leaves a person feeling even more fatigued after minimal effort. This feeds into a dangerous cycle. Reduced movement causes further muscle loss, which leads to greater weakness, which leads to even less movement. In addition to physical symptoms, many people with this deficiency report changes in moods such as increased irritability, apathy, or mild depression, which is no coincidence. Our brains require steady access to certain vitamins to produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, and when the supply runs low, emotional well-being suffers. If left untreated, these mood changes can make it even harder to muster the motivation to stay active or eat well, thereby worsening the deficiency. What complicates things further is that digestion often becomes less efficient with age due to reduced stomach acid production, changes in gut flora, or the side effects of common medications, meaning that even if someone is eating a diet with enough of the vitamin in question, their body may not be absorbing it effectively. This is why seniors who pride themselves on having always eaten well can still be blindsided by a deficiency. Diet alone doesn't guarantee nutrient availability if absorption is impaired. And since the symptoms overlap with so many age-related conditions, from arthritis to neuropathy to chronic fatigue, doctors may not immediately suspect a nutritional cause, particularly if routine blood work doesn't include a test for that specific vitamin. Unfortunately, that delay in detection can result in longer recovery times and the need for higher doses to restore optimal levels. To make matters worse, certain popular lifestyle habits among older adults, such as avoiding sunlight to protect skin, limiting dairy for digestive comfort, or relying heavily on processed convenience foods, can quietly strip away the body's reserves without obvious warning. Over months and years, this gradual depletion not only robs the muscles and bones of strength but also erodes immune function, leaving the body more vulnerable to infections that take longer to heal and hit harder in terms of recovery time. It's worth noting that replenishing this vitamin doesn't instantly fix everything. The body needs weeks to months to rebuild muscle fibers, restore nerve conductivity, and reverse inflammatory changes, which means patience and consistency are essential for real, lasting improvements. Many seniors who correct this deficiency report that one of the first changes they notice is a surprising surge in energy. Not a jittery, caffeine-like boost, but a steady sense of vitality that makes daily activities feel less draining. Over time, this renewed energy translates into greater willingness to stay physically active, whether it's walking, gardening, or doing light resistance exercises, which then further strengthens muscles and bones. In some cases, restoring adequate vitamin levels even improves sleep quality by helping regulate circadian rhythms, which then supports better daytime energy and mood stability. The beauty of addressing such a deficiency is that it creates a ripple effect throughout the body. Better nerve function improves coordination, stronger muscles support balance, healthier bones reduce fracture risk, and improved mood fuels motivation to keep moving forward. But the key takeaway is that none of these benefits happen by accident. They require a conscious choice to identify, correct, and maintain optimal levels through diet, targeted supplementation, and supportive lifestyle habits tailored to an older body's unique needs. And here is where many people over 65 finally realize that the solution they were looking for was never about adding more medications to their daily routine or constantly chasing new health fads, but about going back to the fundamentals that quietly sustain life, because once your body gets the steady supply of vitamin D it needs from a combination of sunlight exposure, targeted supplementation, and nutrient-rich foods, the benefits often ripple into every other area of health. Muscles become stronger not just because you're exercising, but because your muscle fibers can actually contract and repair efficiently. Bones become denser, reducing fracture risk and improving posture so you look and feel younger. Balance improves so walking across the room no longer feels like a cautious chore but a confident stride. Immune cells fire up like they did decades ago, meaning your body can actually fend off infections without every little cold turning into a week-long ordeal. Even mood starts to lift, since vitamin D plays a direct role in serotonin production, and this mental lift alone can give you the motivation to keep up with habits like walking daily, doing light strength training, or preparing healthy meals, which all compound the benefits. But here's the thing, many older adults sabotage this without realizing it. They cover up head to toe outdoors without ever letting sunlight touch their skin. They stick to the same bland, low-fat diet that's missing nutrient-dense foods like eggs, fatty fish, and fortified dairy, or they take a generic supplement without checking if their body is actually absorbing it well. And absorption is key because older digestive systems can sometimes process nutrients less efficiently, meaning even if you take a pill every day, your blood levels may still be low, which is why regular testing at least twice a year can be a game changer, because it tells you exactly where you stand and lets you adjust accordingly. Another overlooked part is timing your vitamin D intake with fats. Since this is a fat-soluble vitamin, taking it on an empty stomach with just water means a lot of it is wasted, whereas pairing it with breakfast that includes healthy fats like avocado or a small portion of nuts can double absorption efficiency. And for those worried about toxicity from too much supplementation, remember it's very rare and usually happens only from extremely high doses over months without testing, so the safe approach is always measure, don't guess. And once you optimize your levels, you'll likely notice changes you didn't even expect, like better sleep because vitamin D supports melatonin regulation, fewer aches because chronic inflammation tends to ease, and even improved wound healing, which is crucial as skin gets thinner with age. Think of it like fixing the foundation of a house. Once it's solid, everything built on top of it lasts longer. So for anyone over 65 dealing with unexplained fatigue, muscle weakness, constant colds, mood dips, or slow recovery from injuries, the first step might not be another doctor's appointment for a new prescription, but a simple blood test and a plan to restore vitamin D to optimal range. And the best part is it's never too late. Even if you've been deficient for years, your body can bounce back faster than you think if you give it the tools it needs. So tomorrow, when you wake up, instead of just rushing through the day without thought, take a few mindful minutes in the morning sun, if it's safe to do so. Make breakfast that works with your supplement, and think of it as recharging your health battery, because your body is not failing you, it's simply asking for the raw materials it has been quietly missing all along. And once you supply them, you'll realize that strength, vitality, and resilience after 65 are not a fading memory, but a very real possibility within your grasp.